When the man looked up to the second floor, he suddenly found that the boss may not be a normal human being, because every step of the boss up there, the glass floor under his feet would be cut into small pieces. This meant that his weight was seriously overweight. What was more terrible was that every time the boss went up the stairs, he felt fear. He had to move a little bit at a time. When Jack saw that the ground on the second floor was full of glass, he thought of a way to kill the boss. As long as he broke the glass under his feet, the boss would fall from the top and die. This could verify whether he was a non-human being. So Jack stayed up all night at the company, testing how much gravity was needed to break the glass. However, when he was seriously testing, he did not notice that the boss had come behind him. In order not to let the boss find out the secret, Jack had to explain that he was writing a small game. Then he introduced this game to the boss. Unexpectedly, the boss thought Jack's idea was good after listening to it. He even let Jack develop it overnight. The next day, after a test, the boss decided to take this game as a key development of the annual project. Because of this, Jack, who should have lost his job, instead gained the boss's trust again. To praise his excellent performance, boss even took him to a mysterious meeting in the middle of the night. But before they got there, the boss led him to a small room and asked him to take off his clothes. It turned out that only people in suits could enter the place. As soon as Jack came in, his eyes lit up. The place was full of green and bright lights. Before Jack could figure out what the boss was planning, the boss told him that the girls here were casual, and he could even take them home. This made Jack, who came to such a place for the first time, a little confused. To ease the embarrassment, he went to the bar alone and asked for a glass of wine. Unexpectedly, a blonde beauty suddenly greeted him. Jack was a little excited. He didn't expect the girls there to be so proactive. Tried to walk over and get along with her. The girl was elegant and seemed like a regular there. When Jack asked if she had come alone, boss suddenly interrupted their conversation. Seeing that the boss seemed interested in the girl, Jack thought she might be his secret lover, so he excused himself to go to the bathroom. After a few minutes, the girl had disappeared. Only the boss was sitting alone at the table. Before Jack could react, the boss asked him to help with something. Since it was his boss, Jack agreed. To his shock, what the boss wanted him to deliver was actually a living person. Jack asked what he was planning to do, insisting he would never do anything illegal. While Jack was yelling to stop the car, boss suddenly braked. They had run into a traffic jam. If the traffic police checked, they would be exposed. Jack's heart almost jumped out of his chest, but luckily the police didn't check their car. Afterward, the boss stopped at a gas station to refuel. While he went inside to pay, Jack quickly untied the belt rope. To his surprise, the person tied up was the blonde beauty. When she saw the boss still at the counter, she jumped out of the car to escape. Before leaving, she whispered something to Jack and ran without looking back. Soon the boss returned. He knew exactly what Jack had done but didn't hold him accountable. It turned out this was just a test. The boss wanted to see if Jack was trustworthy. Since Jack failed, the boss abandoned him at the gas station. At that moment, Jack realized the boss's motives were far darker than he thought. The next day at work, Jack found himself in shock. The nightclub from last night had suddenly turned into an office in his memory. Something was wrong. To investigate, Jack secretly installed a virus program on the boss's phone. He found that every month the boss called a certain person. To confirm his suspicions, Jack went to a jewelry store connected to that number. He asked the shopkeeper if he knew his boss. Unexpectedly, the old man panicked and pressed the security switch. As the iron door closed, Jack thought he was going to die. He begged for mercy, but the old man explained he didn't want to harm him. Instead, he revealed a design drawing. A few years ago, a woman had brought this drawing and asked him to make a golden object according to its ratio. Because she paid well, he complied. Later, more women came every month requesting the same. The payment always came from a man named Nick, or sometimes his daughter. Eventually, the old man realized he had crafted 216 pieces, enough to form a complete human golden frame. At that moment, Jack understood. The golden frame was likely installed inside the boss's body. That explained the cracking glass under his weight and his strange strength. Jack planned to tell his colleagues, but suddenly masked men stormed the shop. They knocked Jack down and smashed the jewelry. Luckily, the shopkeeper fired a gun, killing them. He urged Jack to leave quickly, warning that Nick had sent assassins. Jack rushed back to the company with a hammer in hand. He confronted the boss, smashing the steel glass floor. As cracks spread, Jack demanded to know if his real name was Nick. The boss refused to answer. Jack smashed again, the glass shattered, and the boss fell heavily. A shard cut off one of his toes, but when Jack rushed downstairs, the boss was gone. The police didn't believe Jack's claims about a golden frame body. Later, the severed toe was mysteriously delivered to Jack's home. When he cut it open, he discovered it was indeed made of 3.5 parts gold. His suspicions were confirmed. The boss was a man in a golden frame. But the question remained, what kind of unnatural survival allowed him to live like that? The story ends here.